Thank you very much. There will be now an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Elo nalowo azithandazele ngokuthe cwaka aziyaleze enkosini yakhe ngokwenkolo yakhe. Thank you very much. We may be seated. Honorable Premier, honorable members of the Executive Committee that are present, the Honorable Chief Whip, the Deputy Chief Whip, the presiding officers, Chairperson of Committee of Chair and Deputy, and all the whips, honorable leadership, leaders of the opposition that are present here, our guests in the gallery, our HODs that are present here, and those that are acting on behalf of their departments. Please be welcome to this important sitting that is amplifying the work that has been started by the Honorable Premier last week. Honorable members, I think just before we go forward, I just want to make this formal and general apology, Honorable Premier, to our guests and general members of the public. I think allow me to extend the apology on behalf of this House to all our State of the Provincial Address guests that were invited from here and beyond for the unfortunate mayhem and chaos that took place in Abbotsford Christian Center last week by the members of the Economic Freedom Fighters after they were ordered to take leave of the chamber in terms of Rule 102. Indeed, we regret, honorable members of the public and those that are joining virtually this platform, the incident. And this matter now has been referred to the competent committee to act accordingly and make a determination. And indeed, the committee will come back here to report of its own work and findings. Umsebenzi omhle usenziwe, Honorable Premier, ugalelwe amanzi amdaka. Kodwa sinethemba lokokuba akukho nto izawumisa kwizibhambathiso kuba le ngxoxo yanamhlanje isaqhubela phambili umsebenzi obuqalile. Abantu ke bephondo mabathembe into kokuba akuzuphela amandla alendlu ekuqinisekiseni into yokuba izinto ezicwangcisiweyo nezigqibo ekufikelelwe kuzo zizawuqhubela phambili. Are there any notices of motion? Honorable Magashela.
Yes. Deputy Speaker, let me take the opportunity and extend a word of greeting to you, the Premier, and the members of the Executive Council, the members of this august House, and the administrative support, as well as the guests in the gallery. Deputy Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that despite the provisions of the Standing Rules of Procedure of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, that the House approves change on starting time of the House sitting on the 27th February 2024 to start at 10. I so move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. I put the motion. Thank you very much. Honorable Fihlane.
Deputy Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House appreciates that the African National Congress commends MEC Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture for hosting the deserving awards to individuals, dubbed as the 2024 Provincial Arts, Culture and Heritage Awards. Acknowledge that under the category of heritage, the awards were graced by the Liberation War veterans, legends who are now at their advanced ages and who have risked their precious lives by opting to resort to armed activities in a bid to liberate our people. Recognize that With the assistance of Umkhonto weSizwe War veterans, the following names were selected. Papatoy Tungwa, who was part of MK forces fighting along Zebra Army to repel the Ironsmith racist regime army during Wanki's polio military campaign in 1967-1968 in Zimbabwe. Mangaliso Matyobeni, a member of the MK Special Operations, which was under the direct command of the SACP's General Secretary, Joe Slovo, then, who was an Army Chief of Staff. Other recipients were Sidney Seeley and Dunisa Mdlu. Note that the recognition of these peace-loving individuals and patriots is consistent with the effort of government to recognize the role of war veterans and immortalizing them in the course of history. They changed for the better. Therefore, I move that the House resolve to congratulate the government and DESRAC for this initiative and urge government to continue with such recognition, and urge DESRAC and government to extend this program by dedicating resources towards documenting and archiving stories of such individuals. I so move, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Chief Whip. I put the motion, Honorable members. Agreed. Thank you very much. Honorable Mbonyana. Yes, Honourable Member. Just a minute, Honourable Member. There is an order raised.
Deputy Speaker, Rule 97, I rise on a point of order. Deputy Speaker, during our deliberation in the multi-party stakeholder WOPRI meeting, it was agreed that no motions will be tabled, but only member statements for today. And I hear now there's motions being tabled. I mean, it was tabled in our multi-party WOPRI that no motions.
Okay. I will make a determination. You can proceed, then I will make a ruling.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Greetings to you, Honorable Premier, members of the Executive, Honorable members and our guests. Honorable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature that we observe the following. One, that we observe that the fourth industrial revolution that is characterized by high levels of information technology investment and development is upon us. That we acknowledge that information technology plays a crucial role in communication and decision-making, thus giving individuals and organizations a competitive edge. That we note that information technology is central in enhancing service delivery aimed at changing the lives of our people for the better. After years of neglect by the erstwhile apartheid and colonial government. That we also note that rural areas in South Africa, Honorable Speaker, and in the province of the Eastern Cape in particular, have been hard hit, especially when it comes to information technology development and progress. That we acknowledge that the democratic government has gone a long way in the information technology revolution space within the province of the Eastern Cape and the country throughout the past 3 decades. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, that we further acknowledge the transit or impermanent nature of information technology development and the speed with which countries and individuals must cope. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, therefore, I move that the House resolve on recognizing the investments that the government of the Eastern Cape is making through state information technology agencies aimed at adding value to the ICT services to the public. Encourage the provincial government to forge ahead with its broadband rollout program directed at ensuring connectivity of our province. What happened here? For the government to invest and further mobilize the private sector for every part of the province to have a connectivity coverage. Lastly, I appeal to the private investment and all individuals to contribute with their skills or resources to the program that must give us as a country and the province a competitive advantage in this dynamic 21st century to employ users to use ICT services available to the advancement of their communities, organizations and themselves, and to avoid falling victims to unscrupulous ICT operators. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mbonyana. I put the motion. Honorable members? Thank you very much. Just before I invite the last motion, let me clarify this point because I've been formally appraised about the issue, Honorable Von Brokenroder, that the provision that you are seeking clarity on in terms of your order is reserved for which is Wednesday, when the Honorable Premier is to reply, and hence tomorrow there will be no motions. But that is not applicable today. And I think if there is no clarity on the whippery which discussed the matter, at least for me, that has been communicated accordingly. And hence tomorrow's program is totally different from today. Thank you very much. Follow up? Yes, Honorable Member.
Yes, I'm not malicious because I have raised this in the multi-party working, and it was clearly said to us that no motions, only member statements today, and nothing tomorrow. So I don't know where, I think the trust is broken that we are sitting in a committee, setting out the agenda for the sitting, and then the rules get changed midway. I need that to be noted because really I clarified it on the Zoom and it was stated very clearly. Even the slides showed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, maybe without laboring deeper on the matter, unless there is special clarity, but I think I'm noting the feedback, and I think the decision for now still stands, and we can proceed, unless Chief Whip, you want to fine-tune.
No, thanks, Deputy Speaker. We honestly wouldn't want to venture into, because our argument is that we wanted to simply allow member statements tomorrow. Today, we were clear that we can have both the motions and member statements. Then when it's time for reply by the Premier, we only allow that would be a member statement. I'm sure there is a miscommunication and misunderstanding in the light of deliberations, because that's what we agreed upon. Otherwise, we wouldn't love to come and, present and mess up the decorum of the House, because normally we would proceed quite very well in the multi-party. We have never had such a misunderstanding. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honourable Vaughan. Honourable Cowley, then I will make a ruling on the matter.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Could I ask then that we have the recording listened to today and that the ruling be made today, so that if it is the case, we can submit motions tomorrow? Thank you.
Honourable members, unfortunately, I'm not sitting in the whippery myself. I may not know the details and discussions as well as resolution of that, but what normally gets communicated to the presiding officers is the determination of how things will flow. And I'm just indicating that we received that today we are going to consider the motions, member statements tomorrow, then the Premier will then be ushered in to respond. If there are any other matters, I think post the sitting today, we will clarify the matter with Chief Whip together with the party of various organizations represented in the House. Thank you very much. Can I invite Honourable Gaya for the last motion?
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker, and good morning, everyone. Honourable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House acknowledges the exceptional achievement of Sivenati Nonchinga, who has recently secured the title of the IBF World Flyweight Boxing Champion for the second time. Notes that Sivenati Nonjinga, hailing from the Eastern Cape, has demonstrated exemplary skill, dedication, and sportsmanship throughout his career, serving as a shining beacon of inspiration for aspiring athletes across the region. Further notes that the Eastern Cape has long been recognized as a mecca of boxing and fertile ground for producing remarkable boxing talent, with a rich history of nurturing champions who have made significant contributions to the sport both domestically and internationally. Recognizes that Sivenati Nonshinga's remarkable success not only brings immense pride to the Eastern Cape, but also underscores the importance of investing in the development and promoting of boxing talent within the province. Therefore, I move that this House resolves that this esteemed House extends its heartfelt congratulations to Sivenati Nonshinga on his outstanding achievement and expresses its profound appreciation for his dedication, perseverance, and exemplary representation of South African boxing on the global stage. Hail the critical role played by the Eastern Cape in fostering boxing talent and emphasizing the need for continued support, investment, and infrastructure development to ensure that future generations of boxers have the resources and opportunities necessary to excel and reach their full potential. Encourages all relevant stakeholders, including government bodies, sport organizations, and private sector to collaborate closely in the promotion and development of boxing in the Eastern Cape. Commends the efforts of government, organizations, and communities actively involved in the development of boxing in the Eastern Cape, thereby harnessing its full potential as a vehicle for social empowerment, community development, and national pride. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Guy. I now put the motion. Thank you very much. We are now going to member statements. Honorable Botham.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, all protocols observed. Accountability and good governance are of utmost importance to make our democracy work. The true test of a working democracy is the degree to which government responds to citizens' needs and delivers quality services to meet those needs. In case of Ingqube Yatemba local municipality, good governance has become questionable during the recent unceremonious electricity disconnections. Infuriated residents have been locked in battle for 30 days now with the municipality over alleged illegal and unprocedural electricity connections. Residents accuse the municipality of rude customer relations, inaccurate accounts, flawed internal administrative processes, a lack of quality basic services, and administrative political infighting that has led to a growing trust deficit between the residents and the municipality. It is alleged that the municipality has failed to adhere to its own credit control and debt collection policy processes, and residents view this as an abdication of municipal staff's fiduciary duties to execute and discharge their obligations in a fair and transparent manner. As a responsible public representative of this House, I have timeously informed and engaged MEC Zolile Williams, who is responsible for local government affairs in the province, on the tense and volatile situation. But till now, I have been met with total silence, no response to my correspondence, and no leadership from him. I hereby once more, on behalf of the people of Cradock and Middelburg, call on MEC Zolile Williams in this Parliament, in front of all the members of Parliament and the Premier, to issue a Section 106 notice with the aim to soliciting specific reports on A, why a High Court order was not immediately implemented by the municipal manager to connect the local businessman's electricity supply, and B, to obtain a report on the operational efficiency and effectiveness of the municipality's service delivery and administration, and C, to conduct a forensic investigation into the municipality's financial affairs and the effect of the view that Section 106 is a monitoring tool that the MEC must use. It allows him to investigate serious allegations leveled against the municipality, as in this case. Section 106 also serves to empower the MEC to obtain the true facts of what's affecting the administration and governance of the municipality. And lastly, Section 106, if implemented correctly, Deputy Speaker, seeks to find solutions to the municipality's shortcomings and to ensure accountability and consequence management in this regard. The people of Cradock and Middelburg will pay for services, but only once the municipality issues authentic and accurate accounts to them on a sustained monthly period. MEC, through the Deputy Speaker, I urge you to meet me in Ngubeni local municipality, and let's sort this mess out. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Honourable Makashela.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Noting that the 29th of May 2024 is proclaimed as the day for general elections in South Africa, as the ANC, we call on all parties and institutions of government to acknowledge that free and fair elections are the cornerstone upon which South Africa's democracy is anchored. The upcoming national and provincial elections represent a crucial opportunity for all South Africans to exercise their democratic right and contribute to the continued advancement and preservation of the nation's democratic values and principles. As such, all parties involved must ensure that they are held under peaceful conditions, free of any intimidation and coercion. All parties must campaign freely and not deface or vandalize material of other parties. Dispute mechanisms must be fully explored and resist to descend into violence. In recognition that elections provide citizens with a direct and a powerful means of shaping the future of their nation and holding their elected representatives accountable. Therefore, every party must commit to abide by the Electoral Act Code of Conduct. Institutions of government, inclusive of legislature, must conduct voter education. We call upon all relevant stakeholders, including government institutions, civil society, and the media, to collaborate in promoting voter education, awareness, and participation, thereby empowering all South Africans to engage meaningfully in the democratic process. In appreciation that the act of voting is not merely a civic duty, but a sacred responsibility, embodying the collective voice and will of the people in determining the direction and governance of our nation. As such, parties intending to participate in the elections must further commit to preserve the integrity of the elections and accept the outcomes of the elections. Let's reaffirm our unwavering commitment to upholding the integrity, transparency, and fairness of the electoral process, thereby safeguarding the democratic ideals upon which South Africa is founded. We must further urge all eligible citizens to exercise their right to vote in the upcoming elections, recognizing it as a powerful expression of citizenship and a vital mechanism for ensuring the continued progress and prosperity of the nation. In accepting that the strength and resilience of South Africa's democracy rely heavily on the active participation of its citizens in the electoral process, ensuring that their voices are heard and their interests represented fully. Therefore, urge government and its stakeholders to ensure that voting stations are accessible in terms of roads, energy provision, water, and abortion facilities. We therefore urge IEC and government to undertake all necessary measures to resolve any barriers or challenges that may impede citizens' ability to exercise their right to vote, ensuring that the electoral process remains accessible, inclusive, reflective of the will of the people. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chief Whip. Thank you very much for the member statements. I will now invite the Premier to assign accordingly. At least there are two. Over to you, Honourable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Good morning to you. Good morning to all honourable members and the guests in the gallery. Well, I think, Honourable Deputy Speaker, through you, Honourable Williams will be able to handle the member's statement from Honorable Botha. I don't think the second one needs any further elaboration. It's a straightforward appeal for political consciousness, but also political conscience to all of us as members of the political parties on safeguarding and protecting the democratic projects we are pursuing in our country for its prosperity. So we fully concur on that one, but I would just invite, through you, Honorable Williams, MEC for Cocta, to just make a quick response on that one from Honorable Botha. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Premier. Over to you, Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Greetings to the Honorable Premier, members of the Executive Council, members of the House, the officials of our government, our distinguished guests in the gallery, and our people of the Eastern Cape in all our platforms where this gathering is being viewed. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in responding to the Ingubaya Temba matters, municipalities are empowered through the Municipal Systems Act to recover debt from all the consumers who benefit services from such municipalities. And Nguba is not outside that legal requirement. So there's an empowering legislation before the credit control policy. Now, for that municipality to function effectively and to avoid being regarded as distressed, that municipality must have access to funds from the consumers whom that municipality delivers services to. In the case of this municipality, Honorable Deputy Speaker, all the indigents of that municipality that have registered with the municipality are benefiting free services from this government. However, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the challenge is for those, as you can hear the Honorable Member is talking about businesses who are not prepared to pay the municipality and have therefore taken steps to go to court to fight out the battle with the municipality. All those who can afford, who are beyond the threshold adopted by this government, they must pay for services. And the opportunity was given by Ngubaya Temba municipality for all the residents to pay their accounts. And they ignored paying for services. This is excluding indigents. We must be clear on that, Honorable Deputy Speaker. They were offered an opportunity to make arrangements to pay, and they ignored that arrangement. And in terms of the credit control policy of the municipality, if you ignore making such arrangements, the municipality has a right to use electricity as a leverage to force you as a consumer to pay for services. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we cannot stand here and cry out every time that municipalities are not self-sustainable. But we have to come to this parliament and say we must promote that consumers who benefit services from such municipalities must not pay for services. I'm saying, Honorable Speaker, what the municipality is implementing is in line with the credit control policy and the empowering legislation in terms of the Systems Act. On matters of Section 106, Honorable Speaker, the challenge I am having is to regard Ngubaya Temba as if is a municipality whom the Auditor General has not audited. We're talking of a municipality with an unqualified audit report with findings. And it must be clear, when the Auditor General says it's unqualified with findings, it means we know what is wrong in that municipality in terms of their books. Now, I will not be instituting 106 for perceptions and innuendos in municipalities. There must be clear reports that come and request such to be implemented. In fact, ours is to be busy ensuring that that municipality is self-sustainable. And I'm saying then, Honorable Speaker, we're pushing hard. That municipality is spending municipal grants, and we're excited about that to try and improve service delivery. And so all the other issues, Honorable Speaker, relating to write-ups of letters and so on, I don't know how many letters am I responding to the DA in respect of every questions they are asking. So I'm saying, Honorable Speaker, we'll have to deal to check on that one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier, Honorable MECs, and I must also thank the honorable members for utilizing this important provision of using member statements to ventilate and air some of the issues that are affecting the constituencies you are operating under, and for the appropriate responses we received. I think there are a lot of other mechanisms, honorable members, that we are using that members can also furnish. Honorable MECs and Premier can write letters, issues that they can raise here. So there are a lot, but this is but one of the mechanisms that this institution, through its own rules, established to ensure that there is accountability and answerability. Thank you very much for that. Honorable members in the gallery, you are at liberty to take pictures if you want, as long as just you can avoid using flashlight. Otherwise, you can. We go now to the first subject for discussion. Secretary?
Discussion of address by the Premier of the Province of the Eastern Cape.
Kuzawuqala ke ingxoxo umpikiswano ngengxelo ewiswe inkulumbuso yeliphondo. Sawucela kuba abantu bazole kwendawo bakuzo, babukele bangathathi inxaxheba bona kulo umcimbi. Amalungu onyulele ukwenza lonto azawukwazi ba ayenze on their behalf. Ayithi ke lonto aninoncuma xa nifanele nincumile. I will now invite the African National Congress, Honorable Magashela, to take 15 minutes to open the discussion. I will monitor your time, Honorable Member, 15 minutes. You can start now.
And save it, Deputy Speaker. Remember last time, Honorable Venner made a mockery of me. Deputy Speaker, may I take this opportunity to greet the Honorable Premier, members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, traditional leaders present today, government officials and guests in the gallery. Honorable Speaker, let me start by stating the obvious in that the State of the Province address delivered by the Honorable Premier Oscar Lubabalo Soweto Mabuyan was captivating, candid and honest when it came to the state of our province. Onendlebe unetyala kuba konto awuthakayivanga ngaphandle kobekhe wathatha vacation waphuma phandle. Honorable Premier, be not surprised if some take this podium and debate as if they never listened or read the State of the Province address, as otherwise they would not justify as to why they are an opposition. they have no responsibility nor are they accountable for anything. They are paid for opposing anything done by the ANC. Luckily, the electorate of the Eastern Cape is much wiser to be hoodwinked by the trickery of the doomsayers. Further, let me state that while we are on the silly season of election campaigns, however, to descend in chaos and undermine the decorum of this august house in the name of electioneering is totally unacceptable, and the misconduct of the EFF must be followed up and heavier sentence meted if they are found guilty. Honorable Deputy Speakers, this province, we come from a low base as we were among the first provinces to directly confront and engage with the colonialists, which had far advanced military weapons, but our forebears relentlessly defended their land. Historians tell a story that in 100 years of the wars of resistance, the colonialists could only advance a proximity of 1 kilometer per year, and that is why we were heavily oppressed and marginalized as this province. So we waged a formidable war. However, as sons and daughters of the great warriors and martyrs, we never viewed 1994 democratic breakthrough as time for revenge or reverse racism, but as the turning point in our country's history, demonstrating our shared commitment to nation building, freedom, social justice, and democracy. Together, we ended centuries of colonial and apartheid rule and established a new South Africa founded on a progressive constitutional democracy with equal freedoms and rights for all. Today, we have vibrant democratic institutions, a free media, an active civil society, regular, free, and fair elections, and respect for the rule of law. We have been on a protracted journey to reconstruct and transform our country and the province. Along the journey, there have been many hills, valleys, rains, hot and cold days, but as the people, we have proven to be resilient, and it is clear that victory is within sight. For example, the province we inherited as fragmented government, where in the Eastern Cape there were 3 provincial administrations that we needed to integrate into one provincial administration that serves the interest of the citizens of this province. But today we stand proud that ANC has built an integrated, responsive and professional administration. Deputy Speaker, it is Amilcar Cabral who said, I quote, "Hide nothing from the masses of our people. Tell no lies, mask no difficulties, mistakes, failures, claim no easy victories," close quote. As such, Speaker, the scientific measure to assess the progress made by the ANC is against the overwhelming electorate mandate the ANC received from 2019. Our 2019 manifesto.
Order.
Yes, Deputy Speaker. It's Marshall, I found him smiling. Our 2019 manifesto, we contained 7 priorities. We committed to transform the economy to serve all people and create jobs. We said we will advance social transformation, especially our education, health, and social security. We said we will step up the fight against corruption throughout society and build safer communities. We said we will press ahead with the building and renewing of a capable and developmental state. We committed to advance the nation building and social cohesion, and further, that we will build a better Africa and a better world. On his State of the Province address, the Honorable Premier demonstrated that he's in touch and knows every development in the province as he stated the progress. Economic transformation, to show where we come from economically as a country. Our economy has tripled the size since 1994 and the rate of poverty reduced. While unemployment has remained high, the number of people in employment has more than doubled from 8 million in 1994 to 16.7 million today. Here in the province, the unemployment has been decreasing, as evidenced by the decline from 45.8% in the third quarter of 2020 to 38.8% in the third quarter of 2023. The province has seen just in this term a creation of 246,000 permanent jobs for our people. In addition, government created more than 400,000 work opportunities through the expanded public works program. Even the 7th administration, economic transformation will remain our foremost task. We are confident that siyabuya siyithethe nje iland. You see, as the electorate in every part of the province is telling us that on the 29th of May 2024, iza kunqina ekubonileyo by affirming this great progress on a ballot. On investment, Deputy Speaker, ANC-led government nationally has raised 1.5 trillion in new investment commitments, of which over 500 billion has already flowed into the economy. Here in the Eastern Cape, ANC-led government attracted investment to inject a combined 173 billion rand into our provincial economy, showing that investors have confidence in the Eastern Cape and they see the progress we are making, as such endorsing it with their monies. The basic necessity in restoring the dignity of any person is to ensure that they have a shelter over their heads, and that is why we welcome that since 2019, ANC-led government has built 24,000 houses. The Eastern Cape accounts for 31.6% of the national total of RDP, or subsidized housing, and has the 5th highest percentage in the country. Census 2022 revealed that there is a 49% increase in residents of Eastern Cape who have access to flushing toilet facilities, and a 74% decrease from 2011 to 2022 in those who do not have access to toilet facilities of any kind, and there is a 17% increase to 1.2 million of households with access to water supply in the Eastern Cape from 2011 to 2022. On our quest for comprehensive social security, we are quite elated that the Social Relief of Distress grant will become a basis of and a foundation for the Universal Basic Income Grant for the unemployed across the board. Our President has already indicated that going forward, we are continuing and building on the 350 Rand grant. Those who complain about this grant, is clear that they are speaking from a privileged position and have no clue of how it feels to go to bed on an empty stomach. In the Eastern Cape alone, social grant covers over 2.8 million citizens on a monthly basis. There is no question that education is the key to success, and that is why, through ANC investment and not a fluke or lack on education, since 2019, we have improved our provincial matric pass rate to 81% in 2023. The statistics on access to electricity pre-1994 are quite staggering, with only a meager 36% of the population that had access to it. And the situation became worse when it came to the rural areas of South Africa, as we can imagine. Today, statistics reveal a different picture, with 8 out of 10 South Africans having access to electricity or some form of energy, whether it be gas or so. There's a 14% increase in the access to electricity for cooking from 2011 to 2022. Yes, we do have our own energy challenges, but with the energy mix that the government is pursuing, these two shall be a thing of the past. This progress has been achieved by the ANC despite that over the past 5 years, the country faced internal and external challenges, including economic downturns, the effects of state capture, the COVID-19 pandemic, load shedding, global political conflict, the July 2021 unrest, and the climate change, which all tested our democracy, resilience, and leadership. But despite all that, the ANC has delivered on its commitments and has remained steadfast. ANC plans, let us just share with you, Deputy Speaker, what the 7th administration would do. As the ANC, we have demonstrated that we have capacity. We also have knowledge and experience to change lives of the people for the better. And that where there are lapses, we are capable of self-correcting. As such, we commit that as the government, beyond 29th of May 2024, I repeat, as the government, beyond 29th of May 2024, we will do the following. We will put South Africa to work by expanding employment to sustain 2.5 million work opportunities, build our industries to achieve an inclusive economy. 1, to improve economic and social infrastructure, such as roads, bridges we do currently, dams and fiber networks, to support SMMEs and industrialization, to install solar geysers in working class and poor communities, to address the crisis of young people not in employment, education or training through increased efforts to reduce the number of learners who do not finish school and providing second chance opportunities, to pass matric through community and TVET colleges, expand and institutionalize the National Youth Service in partnership with the South African National Defence Force, expanding skills base and meet basic needs in communities.
2 minutes.
Targeting intake of 100,000 young men and women. Tackling the high cost of living. Lower the cost of food through VAT exemption on essential items. Ensure basic services are affordable by maintaining and expanding subsidized basic services. Progressively implement a basic income support grant by extending and improving the value and coverage of the social relief of distress grant for the unemployed. Ensure the national minimum wage increases in line with the inflation and ensure compliance. Implement the national health insurance and reduce the cost of medical care, especially for the poor. We invest in the people. We will invest in people by improving access to quality education and health, expanding the use of science and technology, and ensure that all people have decent housing and basic services. We want to defend democracy and advance freedom, Deputy Speaker, by keeping our homes and streets safe and protect our borders, as well as building a better Africa and a better world. We want to intensify our efforts to advocate for peace and development and pursue perpetrators wherever they are found and they exist around the world, as we are doing with Israel right now. In conclusion, Honorable Premier, SOPA affirmed that ANC yiyo enamandla and it will continue to lead and rule and govern this country beyond the 29th of May 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. That was the opening for the discussion. Ndizawubiza ohloniphekileyo ubawo uBobby Stevenson ezawuxoxela i-Democratic Alliance. Honorable Member, you've got 17 minutes. I will assist you to monitor your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Premier, members of the House. Today I stand before you as the end of my 25 years as a member of this House looms closer. Thank you. One of my former leaders, Van Zyl Slabbert, once said, "It's better to go when people want you to stay than stay on when people want you to go." So in politics, you need to get your timing right. After prayerful reflection, I feel God is calling me elsewhere, but I'm not leaving politics or the DA. I've enjoyed my time here. It's true in this House, we have had robust political debates, but that is part of politics. And I sincerely believe that we've always managed to engage with mutual respect and not descend into the hell pit that some councils or legislatures have become. I would also like to thank the Honourable Premier for his recognition during the State of the Province address. It takes a special kind of leader to be gracious to your opponents. However, Honourable Premier, to transpose the words of Mark Antony in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, I haven't come here to praise Caesar, but I also haven't come here to bury you, rather to bury what is wrong with the province. When it comes to game, the Eastern Cape has the Big Five, but it also needs the Big Five game changers that can put this province on a new trajectory. And those game changers need to be related to jobs, electricity and water, decent roads, infrastructure, networks, and functional local government, and safety and security. Just to mention one, the World Bank found that for every 10% increase in broadband penetration, the GDP of a country, or in our case a province, grows by 1.38%, opening up a world of possibilities. Satellite internet is available in this world through Starlink, which could change the face of this province. And this is what we're looking for in SOPA, a game plan with big game changers, not just a list of successful projects. The cost of living and unemployment crisis have spiraled out of control. The Honourable Chief Whip, when he spoke, mentioned some unemployment figures, but the latest ones came out last Tuesday. And in this province, we have a 41.9% unemployment rate and an expanded rate of 47.1%, up 3.1% from the 38% that the Honourable Chief Whip mentioned. In this last quarter, a shocking 111,000 people in the Eastern Cape lost their jobs. This is a far cry from the 18% unemployment rate target that the Premier set in 2019 for 2030. The Western Cape, in contrast, gained 23,000 jobs in this last quarter, with the lowest unemployment rate in South Africa. So we must be honest. No amount of positive rhetoric can talk away the fact that the poor are still being kept poor in this province. There are over 2.2 million people in the Eastern Cape that have given up looking for jobs. People are forced to be dependent on a state that cannot provide for their needs. The path to progress and prosperity lies in building a sustainable economic foundation, and in the Western Cape, the DA is doing so. For many, I listened to Sona, and for many, the life of Tinswala will remain a distant dream. Democracy's child has been orphaned and left to her own devices, like our scholars who still stand on the side of the road, stranded every day, waiting for transport to materialize. How can Wi-Fi and connectivity promises be believed when we still cannot lift all the children to school? George Orwell once said, "In times of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act." And on this side of the House, there are many revolutionaries. The roads that should lead to prosperity have led to rural tourism and agricultural sectors being hammered. Job opportunities have been decimated, and the Mazeppa Bay Hotel closure is the latest example of how a lack of maintenance is directly impacting on the economy of the province. Even the grader sent to fix it came a cropper. By failing to address this, the government is taking jobs out of homes and food off plates. Close to 500,000 people in this province ran out of money to buy food during 2023. In the Eastern Cape, there are many children that are starving to death and hungry parents left desperate. In November 2023, the South African Human Rights Commission recommended that this government declare a state of disaster due to the exceptionally high prevalence rate of child malnutrition. And this still has not occurred. In fact, if you look at the budget for food parcels this year, it decreased from the previous year by 900,000 rand. As our country continues to slide down the World Corruption Perception Index with a dismal 41, the lowest score ever, Corruption Watch has confirmed that the efforts to curb corruption are simply not working. The Democratic Alliance has proposed a new Chapter 9 institution to deal with corruption. And I can still remember the days of the Scorpions. They had an over 80% success rate. And that is perhaps why so many members of this House at the time, and I was here, chaired their demise when they were disbanded in 2009. Corruption and cadre deployment is not a victimless crime. It lies at the heart of state capture. It's the root cause of the collapse in state capacity and some institutions, because people are appointed to positions based on their loyalty to the ANC rather on merit and skill. This destroys the capacity of the state to deliver services, resulting in load shedding, water shedding, and job shedding. The DA's recent court victory on cadre deployment disclosures is an important step on the road to building a capable state. I'm a believer in democracy that has the power to deliver real progress on a greater scale, where this House holds the executive more accountable for its actions. This is the only way we can overcome the poverty trap in this province and the country, along with a real turnaround plan. If we want to turn the Eastern Cape around, we will need a bold sense of national ambition. The Eastern Cape Civil Service needs to be depoliticized to attract the best we can get. We need public servants with a vision who can manage the crisis we find ourselves in, with all its complexities, and we should also be able to devolve power where we can, so it is closer to people. We need to focus on growing our economy so we can rescue the unemployed of this province. Honourable Deputy Speaker, through you to the Premier, my party and I still believe there's a hope and future for this province. When you talk about making Nelson Mandela Bay a battleground, there needs to be a change of government so people don't have to battle to survive the collapsing services in that metro and fight off the criminal assassins. When you talk about regraveling old roads, we have built new plastic sustainable roads in Jeffreys Bay. When you talk about grants, we know the solution is creating jobs so people are no longer dependent on government for their livelihood. While you were quiet on how 40,000 learners were going to get to school, we walked alongside them. We dream of children playing in the streets safely. We dream of children going to sleep at night with full bellies and parents who wake up with enough to provide for their families. Honourable Premier, we know these hopes can be a reality because where we govern, these are not just dreams in those places, and we stand by to rescue the Eastern Cape. A basic truth is this: when government functions well, people benefit. If the government fails, people suffer. Without more jobs, electricity, running water, without an end to cadre deployment, without honest government, without functioning schools and hospitals and decent roads, all our children will be doomed to lives far worse than our own. And it does not have to be this way. There is a path out of poverty, and we're here to say, step out of the way. We can fix what you are breaking. We refuse to accept that this country has been placed in permanent reverse gear. We will start to fix what is broken in government by abolishing cadre deployment, firing corrupt officials, appointing competent people with skills to deliver services. The Western Cape is geared to the future. There are real plans to end the energy crisis with an energy strategy in place, the first in the country to have a formalized plan to break free from Eskom's woes. The Western Cape is well on its way to become the first load-shedding-free province, and 7 billion has been planned to spent on this over the next 3 years. The state of our province calls for bold and swift action. We need to choose the province and country over cadres so we can rescue the Eastern Cape. Only then will the vital trust between government and its people be restored. I've dedicated my life to making this country a better place, initially in the fight against apartheid and the brutalities of that system, where I, together with others in Nelson Mandela Bay, made a difference, particularly when it came to matters of petty apartheid and championing the one city process, where I was privileged to work with people like Raymond Mhlaba, Governor Mbeki, Molly Blackburn, and Eddie Trent. My guiding lodestar can best be described in the words of that great South African, Alan Paton, author of Cry the Beloved Country, and I quote what he said: "Liberalism is not a creed of this or any century. It is a generosity of spirit. It's a tolerance of others, an understanding of otherness, a commitment to the rule of law, an abhorrence of authoritarianism, and a love of freedom." We need to find a way to address the Eastern Cape's problems before instability and stagnant growth engulf us. When we look at the Eastern Cape's roads, the arteries are clogged. A heart attack is imminent. But the good news is the DA bypass is on the way to fix it. It was John F. Kennedy who once famously said, "It is not our economy that built our roads network. It was our roads network that built our economy." Over my long period in elective politics, the words of George Orwell often ring true when he said, "The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those that speak it." I don't only look to the past, I also look to the future, and I imagine the future. I look to 2029. The DA is a major anchor in a new Eastern Cape coalition government after this occurred at national level in 2024. Foreign investors bought by a new stable-led government invest heavily in the Eastern Cape. Thousands of jobs have been created. Tourists flock to our iconic coast after an injection of capital to fix the broken roads. Infrastructure has been repaired. Electricity and water outages are something of the past, as the rewards of solar and wind energy are bearing fruit. Local government and the civil service are no longer crippled by cadre deployment, which was declared unlawful.
2 minutes.
The Eastern Cape has been changed for the better, and this is part of my dream. Returning to the present, let me end with the words of Martin Luther King's last speech, "I've been to the mountaintop." And I quote, "Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it doesn't matter with me now. I've been to the mountaintop, and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain, and I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I might not get there with you, in my words, as a member of this House, but I want you to know tonight that we as people will get to the promised land. And this is what I will commit the rest of my life to achieving. That is what I've lived for, and that is what I will continue to strive for, a country that we all dream of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bobby Stevenson. Thank you very much. Honorable members, I think he is the only member in the House who served under Premier Raymond Mhlaba, who served under Premier Stoffile, who served under Premier Nosimo Balindlela, who served under Honorable Premier Nokolo Kivit, who served under Honorable Premier Pumulo Muswale, and now continue to serve under Premier Mabuyan. Indeed, a legend. Thank you very much for the standing ovation. Such an impeccable man of the province. Thank you very much, Honorable Bobby. I will now invite the African National Congress, Honorable Mvoko, to debate the discussion. Your minutes are 13, Honorable. 13, yes. Now you can start, Honorable Member. I will remind you when 2 minutes is remaining.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier, Honorable Executive Members, and all members of the House and the gallery. Honorable Deputy Speaker, it is perhaps befitting to plead with everyone to start at the beginning. The beginning for us is the beginning of the 6th term of administration. To some, the following words may be forgotten. The Honorable Premier had brought the assortment of words in the following manner. Building an Eastern Cape we want. He promised to say, we may be at the periphery, but we're at the center of the periphery. It is befitting to remember the words of former President Mandela when he accepted the election result on the 2nd of May 1994, as he declared, I quote, "This is a democracy. I hold out my hand in friendship and ask all of you to join and tackle the problems that face us. An ANC government will serve all the people, not just members of the ANC." Close quote. It will be noted that Premier Mabuyane talks of the Eastern Cape, and by choice, he was never a triumphalist, right following on the footsteps of his Tualande Matiba. These are the words to premise his invite to parties that failed to secure an outright win to be in parliament, those being the Democratic Party, later changed to what we know today. I'm certain that Honorable Stevenson will retire in the Western Cape, Honorable Premier. But I'm glad he says there is hope for the Eastern Cape. This ANC government offers that hope. the dream told by Honorable Stevenson will remain a dream beyond 2029. In any case, it is good to dream. It is befitting, it's important to start this way so that we can collect or recollect the path we have traversed together as a people-centered government. These words carried the demonstrated intention to show connection with the previous ANC-led administration from 1994 up to the beginning of this term. Undeniably, we have acknowledged that we stand on the shoulders of the giants that had come before us. Not out of fashion, the ANC had to develop a policy document it called Ready to Govern, out of serious thoughts and analysis of what laid ahead of its attachment to the corridors of power under a democratic rule for the first time in the Republic of South Africa. If I could talk about the highlights on the third quarter of 2023, the number of jobs created in the Eastern Cape province on the third quarter were 15,000 more jobs created compared to the preceding quarter. Notably, the Eastern Cape recorded the 5th highest employment increase compared to other provinces within the reviewed period. In the third quarter of 2023, community and social services, agriculture, finance, and private household industries were the only industries to report employment increases in the Eastern Cape. According to the quarterly labor market survey, youth employment in the Eastern Cape increased by 26,000, while adult employment decreased by 10,000 in the third quarter of 2023 compared to the previous quarter. This is in line with the national trend where youth employment increased by 237,000, which is more than that of the adult employment with an increase of 162,000. The community, social, and personal services continues to be the main employment contributor against all listed industries in the Eastern Cape. Following the adverse impact of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, geopolitical tensions and supply chain challenges, the Eastern Cape economy has been left vulnerable. This has been further exacerbated by the continued load shedding and its impact on business, big and small. However, the 2.1% growth attained in 2022 proves the Eastern Cape's resilience in navigating uncharted waters and committed to recovery on the economic front. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Human Development Index of the Eastern Cape as measured from 1990 at 0.581 and in 2020 was at 0.688, to which that of the country was at 0.632 in 1990 and 0.727 in 2020. Numbers do not lie. This analysis shows a steady picture of growth across the country and the province, similarly never stagnant in its quest to be an agent of change and progress in improving the lives of our people against all odds. Prior to the 6th term of administration, the province had an investment inflow of less than 500 million per annum. The 6th term administration made concerted efforts to improve investment inflow and set a target of 9 billion for the 5-year term. In response, economic stagnation and setback caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Eastern Cape government responded by implementing focused initiatives to stimulate the economy. The province developed and implemented the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, which contracted the unemployment rate from 42.6% to 38.8% by quarter 3 of 2023. Post-COVID-19 pandemic, a Provincial Economic Development Fund was established with an initial allocation of 100 million to support accelerated economic growth by dispersing funds to private companies and public entities that trade in agriculture, renewable energy, automotive, to name a few. The province has exceeded the 9 billion target to attract above 200 billion investment of the past 5 years. In the 5 installments of the South African Investment Conference, the province attracted a total of 137 billion in terms of investment pledges. This includes projects such as the Aberdeen cables of 135 million, MA Automotive 512 million, and wheel assemblers at 180 million, which have been completed. In the last 2 provincial investment conferences, the province attracted new investments with a total value of 173 billion. These includes projects such as the Toyota material handling in Gqeberha, Mhlobiso Concrete at Kucha SEZ, Ventela, and a 1.5 billion investment by Shoprite Holding in a distribution facility in Wells Estate, of which phase 1 is underway and phase 2 is planned for completion in October 2024. Industrial parks secured a total of 10 investors to the value of 79.7 million rand with an investment pipeline of 20 investors with a value of 1.9 billion. Sustainable energy, to date, 17 projects involving 36.2 billion in investment value have been constructed in the province, having created 9,517 jobs. Other significant investments include Hive Energy, which is the green hydrogen, Stellantis Auto, continued reinvestment from automotive OEMs such as VW, Mercedes-Benz, and Isuzu in the past 5 years. During the 6th-term administration, the province has created 580,320 work opportunities through the expanded public works program and the community development works program. 1,198 jobs of temporal were created from the implementation of the 2022 investment conference commitments. The small town revitalization has created in excess of 10,000 temporary jobs across the province. Agriculture commercialization has produced 26,000 seasonal jobs. The 6th term of administration has had a particular focus on youth development and in partnership with various stakeholders created exit pathways for 8,140 young people in skills, such as animal and vegetable production, entrepreneurial skills, technical ICT, beautification, ECD learnership, new venture creation. Of the 8,140, approximately 700 are youth with disabilities. 6,342 young people benefited from the Premier's debt clearance initiative. This term alone, 13 sector education and training authorities have made an investment of over 1 billion rand, benefiting a total of 15,755 young people in the province in pivotal and non-pivotal programs. This public sector investment into skills development has assisted the Eastern Cape to deposit its contribution to the national target of 30,000 per annum for artisan development to meet the labor market demands. The province has been intentionally supporting the film industry, enabling attraction of investment through film production. The 55 million rand investment that the province has made into the film industry from 2018-2019 financial year to date has generated a total return on investment of 325 million rand, with a total of 8,866 jobs and work opportunities
2 minutes.
created. The key highlight was the attraction of Survivor Season 8 and 9 in consecutive years, the first in the country. Other film highlights include The Knuckle City, Gqeberha, The Empire, and Wild is the Wind. It's important once again to lay this context. Ngoba abanye ayakhaleza amehlo wabo kuba abenengcumo noma nabefunyanwa yiqamtyikili yokulibala. Bathi beyibona inyaniso zibe indamo zabo zikhuniwe. Sijonge ecaleni kunenyaniso. Itsho kakuhle kodwa ingxeke yasentaboziko mfokamqhayi ukuba abakrokrayo bona basazalwa nanamhla. On the occasion of the National General Council In conclusion, Honorable Deputy Speaker, in June 2005, former President Thabo Mbeki had this to say: "These masses," I quote, "these masses are confident that the ANC has both the will and the capacity to take our country forward as we confront the challenges of the eradication of the centuries-old legacy of colonialism and apartheid. They are confident that they are correct to trust our movement as the principal agent of change in our country that is genuinely committed to the objective of building a non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous South Africa. Their own direct experience over the last 11 years of our freedom relating to what has been achieved in this regard confirms that their confidence in the ANC is not misplaced." Quote. Abanamehlo bayabona, abanendlebe bavile.
Thank you.
Ndiyabulela Somlo.
Thank you for even timing yourself. You are a best example. EFF, Honorable Werner.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Greetings to yourself. Greetings to everyone in the House. First of all, I must assure you, Deputy Speaker, that as always, we are going to participate and represent our people. We are here on behalf of all the collective leadership of the EFF to represent the people of the Eastern Cape. And like you will know that the legislature itself is engaged in many things in terms of oversight. The PS is in Alfred Nzu, Fightalita is in Amatol, and myself, I'm here. But I must report to yourself, Deputy Speaker, that Fighter Kotoyi, the honorable member of this House, is in hospital. She was admitted on the basis that the presiding officer refused to listen and apply the rules when the EFF caucus, in my presence, raised on rule number 97. Rule number 97, which the Speaker said it's applicable in that sitting. But she chose to ignore us and further unleashed violence on women and ourselves, which has led to Honorable Kotoyi to be hospitalized in Queenstown Private Hospital. It's a serious matter. I've heard the whip, the chief whip of this legislature, saying that the EFF must be dealt with. It's fine. Bring it on. It's fine. Evidence is there, and we are ready. We are ready. We won't fight. We won't just fold arms. We'll fight back. We are here, Deputy Speaker, as a fearless generation, to respond to the picture which was pointed by the Premier, a wrong picture which doesn't reflect the true reflection of our province. It is for that reason that we stand here to strongly reject that state of the province that was delivered by the Premier. The address was nothing but a continuous pattern of empty promises that can never be accounted for nor delivered to the people of the Eastern Cape. The previous year's address consisted of long, endless promises and commitments like the ones that were made 5 years ago when the Premier took office, which among them was the accelerating economic growth, improve access to education, improve infrastructure, as well as access to education. The people of the Eastern Cape have been subjected to the worst of inhuman conditions since the rule of the ANC in this province, with no development. Inside, the highest unemployment rate currently standing at 47%, while youth unemployment is over 60%. It is very important to note that the systematic failure of both the apartheid government and the current government are evident all over the province. It is not the failure, it is not false that students and scholars are crossing rivers and dams to get to school. Regions like Alfred Zo, Our Tambo, Joe Gabi, Amatole still have 40% of their school using pit toilets. There has been a clear commitment to sabotage our children's education development by the lack of improving school infrastructure. Whenever we try and celebrate the success of scholars in reaching the high percentages, we must bear in mind that it is only them and their commitment to education that has contributed to that. In the recent weeks, learners were subjected to walk more than 15 kilometers to get to school due to failure of both the Department of Transport and the Department of Education to properly run the school transport program. And the excuse was that we don't have money. Premier, like we stood here last year, we've cited that crime levels in our province are very high. And we have called upon yourself to put your foot down in terms of making sure that criminals they don't run our province. Crime in this province is at its staggering high. The risk of being killed at any part of this province is at 70%. GBV-related crimes remain a concern. Lusikisiki is still leading the country in war against women. Villages and towns being crime scenes where most young women and girls are found raped and murdered. The provincial government has had no meaning and effective strategy inside to address any of the above issues. Last week, Premier, the ruling government further demonstrated its unwillingness to be held accountable. During the State of your provincial address, where elected leaders of the EFF in the legislature were unlawfully and violently removed from the gathering, our members raised a point of order which is there in the rules of the House, Rule 97. The Speaker didn't allow us and instead gave you a platform before knowingly that Rule 17.5 doesn't allow us to interrupt you. But she gave you a platform. As a result, an attack was unleashed to our female members. Males, who some of them are your protection officers, they attacked our female honorable members. And the only thing that we wanted to raise, which we were aware of, is the appointment of yourselves with the students. If the speaker could have allowed us, you were going to confirm, and we were going, like it has been happening in this house. We were going to have a peaceful sober, but the speaker degenerated and suppressed all the rules of engagement as enshrined in the rules of the House. So we are here to further raise that question. It has not been addressed. The questions of students, our young kids who came all the way from rural areas to come and be educated, they are still waiting upon yourself, Premier, and Mr. Gatu. They have said to myself, I must convey that message. They are still waiting upon yourselves, Mr. Gatu, whether further promised. They further promised that
2 minutes.
they must gather themselves. He will go and address them. That appointment is still, they are still waiting for you in that effect. The EFF in the Eastern Cape states its uncompromising support to the actions taken by the student in PCC, Walter Sisulu, University of Fort Hare, and Nelson Mandela. We commit to continue providing support to the students in any action moving forward as they fight for a just cause. We further call on all community members across Buffalo City, Nelson Mandela, and all other regions to join the students, protest with them, and support in any way possible. Student wars are community wars, and community wars are land wars. The EFF will not leave that incident of the speaker recklessly unleashing violence to our, we are gathering information, we are going to open a criminal case against the speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I will come back.
Honorable Venner, can you go back to your podium? Yes. We don't have Honorable Gatu. I haven't yet conducted any ceremony for a new member. It's Honorable Gade. You may leave, Honorable Member. Thank you.
We will come back and respond. I'm here.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I just want to report that by 12 o'clock, we are going to adjourn the session for 10 minutes because there is something that is going to happen, just 10 minutes only, that will adjourn and then come back. But when that time comes, I will give an indication. Now I will invite Democratic Alliance to debate the discussion for 10 minutes. Over to you, Honorable Von Brockenroder.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Premier, members of the Executive, members of this esteemed House, ladies and gentlemen in the public gallery, I give it to you all. Firstly, I'm both humbled and privileged for my party, the Democratic Alliance, to allow me to debate in this House today. Allow me to preface my debate with the famous quote of Amilcar Cabral, and I open quote, "Hide nothing from the masses of our people. Tell no lies. Expose lies whenever they are told. Mask no difficulties, mistakes, failure. Claim no easy victories," close quote. Last week, Premier, you stood in a church, what I call a house of God, claiming easy victories that the ANC has achieved during the 30 years of being in reign. Furthermore, you were telling us no truth about the real state of this province. You choose not to elaborate on the mistakes that was made by the ANC, nor to announce any steps to correct them. To you, Deputy Speaker, Honourable Premier, you were radio silent when it came to the real state of crime in our province. As late as last week, the third quarter crime stats were released for the period of October to December 2023. This is not a good story to be told by this province, nor by South African Police Service. South African Police Service is losing the battle against crime. Premier, you said that you are for the people, by the people, but in my view, you are against the people of this province. Deputy Speaker, time will not permit me to read every stat that was released, but allow me to highlight a few. This province is still the highest murder ratio in the country at 22 per 100,000 of the population. With 7 stations in the top 30 murder stations nationally, namely Umtata, New Brighton, Motherwell, Willowvale, KwaZakele, Lebodi, and Lusukisiki. We are still not for the people. To compound matters further, 2,518 sexual offence cases were opened within the 3-month period. Once again, Umtata was cited as being the 3rd most sexual offence case in the country. No wonder that ladies in our province need to pay protection fees for them not to be raped. It is clear that our people are not safe and that this government is against our people. Robbery has jumped from 461 cases to 626 cases. This tells the true story of our residents in our province. Firstly, they are not even safe in their own homes. Criminals take charge of our streets and they roam freely, while our people need to lay under the bed to protect themselves. Agbare voorsitter en beampte, laat my toe om met u mee te deel die huidige stand in Kariga en Port Elizabeth. Die area is nou bekend as 'n gangsterland. Hierdie gangsters loop nou braaf rond en hulle vat mense se lewens in die heldere dag. Skietery gebeur nutteloos en ja, ten minste 5 tot 6 moorde word gepleeg in die area per week. Selfs die kerke wat godsdiens moet verskaf, is nou te bang om hulle deure oop te maak. Godsdiens is een van die belangrikste faktore in enige gemeenskap. Die waarheid is dat die stasie, naamlik Kamesh, is geensins bevoeg om hierdie kriminele hok te slaan nie. Misdaad is die orde van die dag in Kariga. The police are reactive and not proactive. We need more police on the streets and boots on the streets. We need more specialized units like prevention, and we need public order police to be beefed up. We need crime prevention to be in the forefront, and a fully operational of the gang unit, not what is the current status of a 10-man status that needs to cover the whole of Sarah Baartman. Agbare voorsitter, tyd sal my nie toelaat om verder te gaan nie. Honorable Deputy Speaker, only the DA can rescue South Africa. We have a clear plan to reduce the rate of violent crime by half. The inability to reduce crime cannot be solely attributed to the social economic factors. The DA believes in decentralization that will directly impact on the quality of policing by ensuring local oversight and accountability. We need to form public-private partnership to reduce crime involving meaningful contributions with private sectors, private securities, neighborhood watches, and other relevant role players to stand together for the people to reduce crime in this province. We need to make sure that South African police appoint and promote people that are fit for purpose based on merit. We need to strengthen public order police, IPID, as well as continuously training South African members on gender-based violence. Speaker, let me jump to the most important topic that the Premier has in his speech, which was only a paragraph, namely scholar transport. Speaker, through you to the Premier, who once again, radio silent on scholar transport. May I remind this House that I have moved a matter of public importance that was supposed to be debated, but was wholeheartedly rejected by this ANC government because they are saying they are for the people, by the people, but they are against the children. More than 40,000 learners do not have any means of getting to school as a result of the ongoing scholar transport crisis in this province. You are telling lies. You have said in the media statement that you will make sure that 90.3 million will be made available for scholar transport. Your spokesperson, even Premier, went on to say that you will make then more than 1 billion rand available for scholar transport. Where is the money? Empty promises, leer beloftes. Premier, I want to urge you to, and humbly appeal to you, that you take scholar transport serious and that our children are being given the transport that they need. May I further remind you that the DA has given you a clear plan where to find these funds, but yet the ANC has done nothing in order to rescue our children from the dangers of walking daily. Yet the ANC plan is firstly to create problems and then to solve them by getting people upset. Well done. Well done on that job, well done. Because roads are closed, schools are being closed, and tires have been burned on the roads with parents. Deputy Speaker, only the DA has a plan to rescue our children out of this misery, providing effective, efficient scholar transport for all the 140,000 needy learners. Julle weet nie wat ek weet nie. Hierdie ouers gaan op 29 Mei van die jaar stembus toe om julle te verras. Op 29 Mei gaan hierdie regering uitgestem word en 'n nuwe regering gaan ingestem word. Die regering wat gaan omgee van die belange van die mense en die mense eers te sit. 'n Regering wat seker gaan maak dat leerders op tyd op die skool gaan wees sodat hulle geleerdheid kan ontvang. Dit is 'n regering wat gaan ingestem word op 29 Mei en dit gaan ten koste kom van die ANC. Kom 29 Mei, 'n nuwe regering sal ingestem word en die DA gaan deel vorm van daai regering. Premier en executive, ons hou julle sitplekke warm aan daai kant. Die regering wat omgee vir mense, wat 'n betere toekoms vir ons mense gaan bewillig, 'n regering wat dienslewering gaan voorsit en die voorpunt gaan wees, 'n nuwe nasionale regering is in bereik van ons mense en dit is op 29 Mei. Baie dankie.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Honourable MEC Williams, on behalf of the African National Congress. Honourable Member, I know that you've got 13 minutes.
Yes, Honourable.
But I know that by 12 o'clock you'll be affected, but I trust your wisdom to make a bit of a summary. 10 minutes will be better for you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Honourable Premier, Chief Whip, members of the Executive Council, members of the House, and everyone present, the distinguished guests. Nakubemi bepondo lethu laseMpuma Kapa. It is my honor and privilege to participate in this penultimate debate of the State of the Province Address, which was presented by the Premier in the past few days. Before I delve into the details, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I just want to say lies have short legs. The Premier, on the eve of the State of the Province Address, had an engagement with the students who were raising issues relating to how vice chancellors of our universities are assisting them. And the Premier agreed with them that in a week's time, he was prepared and ready to engage with them to resolve their challenges. However, clearly the students were seemingly Bluetoothed somewhere, and they could not reason when the Premier requested that they must engage, because anyway, this was not exactly directed to the Premier's office and the government, but because the Premier, anyone can lie about him, not about listening to our communities. Thethaneni into madoda. Secondly, on the day of the State of the Province address, the Premier sent MEC Gade to go and meet with the students. However, the students refused when MEC Gade was there. So they were Bluetoothed somewhere. And clearly those that Bluetoothed them are actually accepting that they failed those students, but were still determined, the Premier is still determined to resolve those challenges. Honorable Speaker, subsequent to the delivery of the State of the Province address by the Premier last Thursday, our President, Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, launched the ANC manifesto at Moses Mabhida on Saturday, the 24th. The ANC manifesto says, Honorable Deputy Speaker, let's do more together, which indicates a deliberate intention to be inclusive. Contrary to the rescue plan of the Democratic Alliance, which is quite offensive and condescending, and linked to the embedded liberal theory about identity politics, which is an obsession of the Democratic Alliance. This rescue plan is offensive as it suggests that our country must be rescued from Africans and blacks. Because according to Straydom in 1954, white supremacy meant that black people cannot lead, and they must therefore be led by their white counterparts. This Francis Fukuyama describes as megalothemia, the need to be recognized as superior to others. This offensive language is embedded in their genes because the toxic version of identity politics is about the creation of fear and the threat to cultural invasion. They obfuscate and pretend to represent everyone in South Africa. But deep down, they know they represent certain people and not everyone. Therefore, the connotation of the offensive manifesto dictum message of the Democratic Alliance is an insult to Africans and blacks. And it is couched in deep racial undertones. Their belief system is both in terms of form and content, reproduces inequality, and is therefore feeding into megalothemia. This is informed by their inner expressive self, which indicates that the external environment is forced to change, but the inner environment will never change. That is why many Africans and blacks are being shown the door and sent packing every day. On the 22nd of February in Abbotsford, the Christian Center in East London, our premier with robustness, bolsterousness, and alacrity, he gave an account of the work that was done by the 6th administration since 2019, while he also laid the foundation for the 7th administration. Unfazed by the drama, theatrics, and lousy sideshows, which were choreographed by the EFF when they clandestinely tried to disturb the People's State of the Province address, we were not surprised, since our nemesis suffers from pervasive apathy and indifference because they lack information and are very ignorant. Gamachivela. Amachivela ke ngo asindim andazi andikhathali. They engaged in a grotesque violation of rights of the citizens of our province to listen to their premier. Theirs is an attention economy that survives on conspiracy theories. Ngathi ke kwezi elections kuyafuneka nibashubelise ngoba bavuza yonke indawo. The premier highlighted major milestones which have been constructed in various sectors in the province. However, I will only confine myself to how the 6th administration has performed in respect of basic services. In respect of access to basic services, I am bold, very bold, without contradiction, that many people in our province have access to basic services.
2 minutes.
Than they were in 1994. If you talk water, since 2019, our people had 70% access to water. 2023, 80%. Sanitation, 86% access. 2023, 94% access. Refuse, 53. 2019, 2023, 57. Electricity, 84%. Now 2023, 95%. All the indicators are showing us going towards 100%. The provincial government implemented regional bulk water and sanitation infrastructure projects, with 18 projects completed and 14 still under construction. The importance of water to the citizens fulfills the basic rights to human dignity. This is the fundamental right that is enshrined in the Bill of Rights of the Constitution. Before 1994, most of our people had no access to clean potable drinking water, and progressively, the ANC government changed the situation and provided water to our people. Today, 68% of households, 68%. Remember, the Eastern Cape is a rural province. However, this government consistently has ensured that 68% households have access to piped water. When they created the Homeland System, they put us without water. And we're trying to resolve those disparities today. Recently, our provincial government was in Elliotdale to launch a water project that is now benefiting over 100 villages. Kugonco bayawazi amanzi, eMbotyi naseHobeni, they are now receiving water. About 32,000 people have access to water. On the 9th of August 2023, our president launched a water project in Intsigayetu municipality, eTsomo. And 400 households in the immediate villages are benefiting from that water. Bayawazi amanzi kuKwebekwebe, Kumaya, Nakuzwedala, those people have access to drinking water. And
As you-
this mega
as you
project
conclude-
will benefit rural villages of both Krisani and Amatole District Municipality. So mlomo ndisafuna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Members, as I requested, because there are some of the issues that are to be implemented in the House between now and the next coming 10 minutes, without disturbing the tranquility of this sitting, I will now invite that we adjourn for 10 minutes and the Sergeant at Arms is going to lower the mace for a moment. Thank you very much. We will be back at 12:15. Thank you.